Okay, welcome to the very first BS Live Rocks podcast with Bobby and Shane. I'm Shane. It doesn't really matter where Bobby is, I guess. We thought it was appropriate, though, to have our first podcast around two important things in life, music and fine food. Our first guest has spent 25 plus years as a chef here in Southern Niagara, and he's a huge music fan, so it's a perfect fit. He's also owner of the Traveling Kitchen Kachina Agogo, which I'm getting way better at saying and spelling. And today we discuss not only the music, but also the food choices of two iconic musicians of our time, one being Bruce Springsteen, the other being Keith Richards. Springsteen, also known as the Boss, signed to Columbia Records in 1972. His debut album came out January of 73, titled Greetings from Asbury Park. The Boss has 18 albums, including Born to Run, and of course the famous Born in the USA. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999 by Bono of U2, by the way. And Bruce has sold more than 64 million albums, more than 120 million records worldwide, making him one of the world's best-selling artists of all time. He's won 20 Grammys, 2 Golden Globes, and an Academy Award. Keith Richards, he's old. He was born December 18th, 1943. Of course, is a member of the world-famous Rolling Stones. And Rolling Stone magazine credited him with creating rock's greatest single body of riffs and ranks him fourth on the list of 100 best guitar players. The Rolling Stones have released 29 studio albums, 18 live albums, and in 2012 celebrated their 50th anniversary. Today we talk with Chef Lorenzo Lucetta to discuss his favorite songs from those two iconic bands, discuss their food choices, maybe the reasons why. I don't know, we'll make them up if we don't really know them. We'll talk about life as a chef and maybe how he can turn me into a better one. Chef Lorenzo, welcome.
Shane, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so the first thing I want to know is the difference between a cook and a chef, because I'm confused about the whole thing.
Well, I'll start off by saying as a chef and an owner, I still do dishes, so I don't quite know the difference. But on paper, if you shall, a cook is a cook. A chef is the guy that carries the weight and the bulk on his shoulders, responsibilities and such.
What inspired you to become one?
Passion.
Yeah? And you've been doing this for 25 plus years, so
yeah.
You just started cooking and said, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I just started with it and never stopped the ball from rolling, just let it continue on.
Did you go to school for it?
I did, Niagara College.
Niagara College,
I did, indeed. Long time ago.
Yeah, is it culinary school? Is that, do I get the right language here?
It was. You do, but back then it was chef school. It was hospitality school. It was a small little campus underneath the Rainbow Bridge.
Really?
Oh, it was crazy.
Now, though, that's all you hear is culinary this and that, and so many chefs in Niagara.
It's the biggest thing going on, with the Food Network. That's exploded everything, right?
And that's a great comment, because now everybody I talk to, I'm watching the Food Network. I'm learning how to cook on the Food Network. And how did it become such a big thing? Like, I still make macaroni and cheese and toast.
There's nothing wrong with macaroni and cheese.
If you tasted mine, there's a lot wrong with it.
No doubt. The big thing is people love to eat. And people love to create, and give anybody a chance to draw a picture, and they'll take that chance, or to sing a song, or everybody wants that little bit of pizzazz, if you will, right? They give it a chance to add it to their life by perhaps cooking up a dish. And
okay, so let me think about this. If I'm a chef or a cook, like, it's not like if I play guitar. As we attribute this to music, I mean, you learn chords, you learn your basics. Yeah. Is the same thing happen with being a chef? Like, there's basics, because there's a million things that you can make.
One of the best jazz guitarists of Niagara region, who I will allude to in regards to food, his name is Warren Sturtzinger. He once told me that the guitar is an extension of who he is, of his personality, of his body, of his being, physically and emotionally. And that made very much sense to me. Cooking is much the same way, because you're taking something basic like a tomato sauce or a cream sauce, if you will, and you're stretching your boundaries. You're doing something with it. It's not just that sauce anymore. Right. Now it's grown into something else, and that becomes an extension of you. It's built as an extension of you.
So you start basic, and you build on it through the years.
Yeah.
So what would have been, I guess, 20 years ago, if you can remember 20 years ago, some of your favorite dishes to cook compared to now? Now that you know 20 years of food later.
Again, alluding to the guitar player, a guitar player finds his or her style, and that's what they become. A chef finds his or her style, and that's what they become. I've always stuck with Italian food. That's my background. That's where my passion lies.
Right.
So that's what I roll with, and I tweak what I cook. And I may have cooked the same dish 20 years ago, but there's going to be something different about it today because a new ingredient came into the fold.
You tried something different and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Italian is, you mentioned that. Now, yes. What else do you like to cook? Like Chinese? Give me some of the other.
East Indian, I love to cook. I love doing Asian flair cuisine as well. And then traditional French cuisine as well.
Right.
The traditional stuff never goes away. That's always the root and the bones of everything.
So you're a chef. You spend a lot of time cooking. Do you spend a lot of time out eating, like at restaurants? No?
No, not really.
Well, what's wrong with you? No. No, I kind of wondered, and the other thing, too, is when you do are you critical of
I'm not.
The chef?
No, absolutely not. I mean, if I go out somewhere and the food isn't where it should be,
right,
I'm going to be displeased, of course. Anybody should. But I don't go out to bust anybody's chops.
Right.
Because it's not cool to have your own chops busted,
Right.
Anybody can have a bad night or a bad day, whatever the case may be. So there's always a second chance.
So you haven't thought of becoming a food critic then?
No.
And
that's being like a weatherman.
Yeah, but okay,
it's
so
bullshit.
I don't watch it. Right. I don't watch a lot of TV, but my daughter, she's in her teens and she watches the Food Network and stuff. Yeah. And there's so many shows about these guys. They go around, they eat at these fine places all over LA, New York, Las Vegas. And just they're critical of it, but if they happen to get 5 stars, the lineup's out the door. Or is this all made for TV stuff?
It's all made.
Does it really happen?
It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all scripted. It's
really?
about television and selling that television show. It's not about the food. And I have a very good example to that. A friend of mine who's not a chef entered a TV food competition,
right?
And she made it in. And I asked her how it went, and she said, I put everything I had into my food. And she's very good. She's very well versed. She's a foodie through and through. And she said they'd never even looked at our dishes. They never even looked at how we put them together or what we were doing. And she voiced that it was all about smoke and mirrors and lights, camera, action.
It's funny you say that because knowing that we were going to do this podcast, I Googled a bunch of stuff, and one of it was MasterChef Canada.
Right.
And I was looking through the criteria, which obviously it tells you, you must be available when they need you. You must be able to travel, no criminal record, like all those things. But I thought it was interesting how in here, I got to find out where it was, but it was almost like the producer, here it is, point 18, the producer is looking for a dynamic group of individuals. Yeah. See, and I got to turn the page here, who are articulate, outgoing, and interesting more than anything. So it's telling me it's about the characters, just like Big Brother or anything else.
100%.
Not necessarily about what you can cook.
No, absolutely right.
Wow. Have you ever thought that? I guess you can't enter this if you're actually a chef. Or
you know what? No, not MasterChef. And oddly enough, my friend that I spoke about, that was the show.
There you go. And I didn't know that.
I didn't want to mention that, but you brought it up, so that's cool. Anyhow, I've been asked to enter these types of things, and I won't.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's not about the food, and I know that it's not about the person's talent behind the stove, if you will. So because of that, I let my customers be the ones to judge me, and so far so good.
I've been to Vegas many times.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'll tell you this about me. I love good food. I really do. I don't know squat about what I'm eating other than I can pick out some of the main ingredients and I just say, yeah, I like chicken, so I'm going to go with that. Or I love fish. Yeah. And but I love great food. And I don't mind paying for good food. Las Vegas has in my opinion, some of the greatest restaurants and some of the greatest chefs. I mean, Gordon Ramsay has there and a few others. But One of you been to Vegas, and have you ever been to those over the top fancy restaurants that have Gordon Ramsay cooking, having any of the well known chefs around the world?
I've never been to Vegas, but I've been to several of these restaurants that have these famous chefs, Florida, so on and so forth.
Right.
But again, it comes down to the product, the service. Are they better than the restaurant owned by Joe down the street? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all subjective, I guess, huh?
I agree with you, and I think just placing something anywhere, whether it's New York, L.A., Las Vegas, all of a sudden you're up here now, like already, like you don't even have to cook that great, but you're already amazing, right? So
you look at the greats like or the greats, the well knowns like Gordon Ramsay or who's the BAM guy from New Orleans? I love that guy.
I ate one of his places.
Emerald.
Yeah.
So you look at these guys, and as much great as they've done, they've had some fallbacks as well with restaurants that haven't worked. So it's all about finding that niche and finding that theme to go with, and if it's a hit, you're onto something.
Right.
Whether you're a Gordon Ramsay or Joe down the street.
Right. It helps to be in Vegas on the Strip.
Oh, it helps to be in Vegas on the Strip, no doubt.
We're with Lorenzo Lucetta, the owner of Cucina a Go-Go. Am I saying that right now?
Cucina a Go-Go is where it's at.
I don't even know how I spelt it the first time. It was like Kuc. Oh, it was like disaster. But let's talk first about. You have a Facebook page, right?
We do indeed, yes.
Spell it out for everybody.
So Cucina a Go-Go, just like whiskey a Go-Go.
See, that's what I use for it.
For sure, absolutely.
And talk about maybe you're in Welland here.
We're based out of Welland, yeah.
Yeah, so
but we're all over Niagara.
Right.
We got out of the door and out of the gate, if you will, in June.
Right.
And we've been embraced splendidly by the whole community of Niagara. Right. We've done a lot of great things. We're doing a lot of work with different wineries, and
I saw that on Facebook too. And I want you to know this, that people may not know that I know you. So I've been out in the community because I'm always out doing something.
For sure.
People have mentioned your truck and your business, and they're not saying it because they know I know you. They're making a comment while I'm out. And I go, that bastard really are eating his food. No, but I mean, it's something that people are talking about. My brother, for example, because you've done the farmers market at the Seaway Mall.
That's right.
And you know my brother, but and my mom, and they were always like, we need to go see Lorenzo and such. But people seem to have embraced you around here.
It's a great thing. I'm really lucky because I've had this following for a few years, going back that we know each other on a more intimate level, if you will. I had a restaurant way back when, and since then the following has never stopped. It's just it's grown, if anything at all. So
where did you get a bus?
It's parked in front of your house.
Yeah, I see that's parked in front of the house here. So you got a bus and you're pulling a trailer. You can't miss it. It's bright orange, black, and
John Favreau's fault. Totally John Favreau's fault. Man, I watched that movie, Chef, and great movie. Good storyline. Paralleled my life in many instances.
Right.
And that night, I went on Kijiji and I found a bus. And then a couple pages later, on the same night, I found our trailer. And
put them together, and there you were.
As orange as your sweater, buddy. I love it.
I'm going to talk about one more thing.
Yeah, man.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to play a song, and come back, and we're going to carry on. Talk about Springsteen and Keith Richards.
Love to.
But I want to know, with healthy eating today, because everything you see is healthy this, healthy that. Yeah. How has it changed food preparation? Or has it?
In my own world, personally, I just believe in using fresh and good. And I believe that if I use fresh and good in my methods of cooking, because let's face it, I'm going to serve a pasta that's made with 35% cream.
Right.
We know that's not the healthiest thing in the world.
It's damn good.
But it's damn good. So I believe that if we're using good local produce and other products as much as we can get our hands on, and we're not taking stuff out of cans and cryovac boxes and so on,
right?
And we use things in moderation, I think we'll be okay.
Now, you have different menu or the same menu, or you kind of switch it up, or what do you normally serve?
Well, with the food truck, with Cucina Go-Go, we're always switching it up. That's the beauty of doing the food truck thing.
Right.
We get to switch it up and use